What is up, everybody? Today is not like all what I expected it to be. This title should have been check out my new E12 BMW. But unfortunately, I'm gonna take a seat for this one actually. Things fell through. So right now in my garage, I have this. It has a big old 240 butt. I got 240 in my garage. Up on jack stands. Interior ripped apart. Got a nice carbon hood, which is kind of cool. And a 2J with a big old turbo. And lots of, honestly, pretty expensive parts on it. But, unfortunately, this is not mine. Actually, fuck that. Very fortunately, this pile of crap is not mine. I was supposed to do work on this car. I was supposed to install... Actually, no, I'm gonna back up a little bit. I'm going to tell you from the start. A couple weeks ago, I was on Instagram, and somebody I know posted an E12 BMW for sale. It's a 1981 black, really good red interior on it, and it was on air. And I'm going to put some pictures right here so you can see what I saw. He said there's a little bit of rust on like under the windshield, and you can see the rust in the pictures. I don't care. It's an old car. Rust is kind of cool, you know. I can be like, oh, patina, you know, whatever. So I asked how much. He said $5,000, and I was like, all right, I don't have $5,000 to just buy a third project car. I got 3 BMWs in my garage, well, driveway already. I don't need 4. But I was like, cool car, like good luck with the sale, all that, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. And then a couple days later, kid hits me up and says, hey, I got a deal for you. What do you think about fixing my 240 and I'll give you the E12? He said, I'm maybe taking a loss, but I really want this car done. It's been sitting and shops don't have time. They're telling me 8 months. So if you can get it to me with a reasonable amount of time, it's yours. I'm like, all right, tell me more. Like, let me know all about this, both cars. So 240 needs diff and axles installed. He didn't really tell me what diff or axle or why it needed installed, but he said diff and axle needs installed. And then he moved the fuse box through the trunk, which is fairly common on 240s. They rub through the wheel well and whatever, rub through the wire harness. So cool, okay. He needs just the headlight wiring extended from doing so. Okay, pretty easy. And then he said just things need bled. Just, you know, he said it just needs like some small cleaning up, tidying up, just finishing. All right, cool. So I ended up going on his Instagram, creeping back a little bit, and I see that he has a 350Z diff and axle. So like kind of a little bit more understanding why he needs that installed. But again, that's easy. Just change some bushings, pop everything in. He's got everything done. And he told me, he said, I have everything. Like, don't worry, like, I have every part. All right, cool. And then he said, E12 runs less than 100,000 miles on it. And, you know, air is old, but it's just old air suspension. Didn't say it doesn't work or nothing crazy like that. Just said it's old. Like, all right, cool. Like, let's do this. Like, I was going to come look at it, but he's like, I can bring it over Sunday. So it was like, oh, I'm not even gonna have time to look at it before Sunday. So cool, bring it on over. Let's do this. Like, $5,000 car for finishing up a car. Easy, no brainer. No. So he pulls up 240, and the 240 is in worse condition than I realized. Not bad, you know, kind of what they expected. Give you a quick little run through. So he didn't mention anything with the interior. He didn't mention this dash is not installed. I think there's this tumbler, whatever, ignition module doesn't work. There's wiring kind of all throughout. This is the wiring I was expecting, headlight wiring. This basically just needs to go to the front, easy enough. What else we got? He didn't mention that this is just like here with wires. Who knows what the fuck these things are. Fuel pump, not connected. Wires ran crazy long AN hoses all the way throughout the car. Battery box is here, needs mounted somewhere. I mean, again, not the end of the world. This one's got a brake pad. Brake is just dangling on this one. Again, easy stuff, but not what I was told necessarily. We got axle, we got the battery box, he's got the big old Johnny's diff over here. Again, I can handle this. Again, I can handle all this, but not what he said. Now I'm gonna show you what's going on under the hood. Cool carbon hood. Pop this thing up real quick. Boom. Whole front clip not attached. Everything on the front end is loose. Didn't expect that. Wires not connected. Pins random wires. More random wires. I don't think he knows where half the stuff goes to. No oil at all in the engine, which seems sketchy, storing a car for years without oil. No coolant at all, which is fine. No brake, no clutch fluid. So no fluids in the car. He said gas is probably bad and needs drained. I do have to admit, I'm not working on it, but it is a cool looking car. I mean, front mount, big bash bar, carbon hood. I mean, definitely cool, but not cool for me. Again, and nothing I can't handle, but definitely more than what he let on with. So he dropped it off, and he didn't mention any stuff. He basically just pulled up, said, all right, here's a car. Let me go home and get the other car. Like, okay, whatever. Let me go. So he's going home and get the E12. Pulls up, and he's like, all right. Actually, before he even pulls up, I already had this car up in the air, and I'm diagnosing, seeing what needs done. I've got a list of stuff already in my head, like this, and this. Not what he told me, but if I'm getting a cool car, it's doable. I got it. Pulls up with the E12. He said, all right, I don't know how we're going to get this thing off the trailer. Me and my buddies kind of just look at him like, what do you mean? He said, yeah, the air suspension doesn't work. He's like, yeah, it's all really old. It should be replaced. You know, whatever. And I was like, you didn't tell me any of this, but I'm like very passive. So I'm just like, okay, you know, it's probably something simple. So like, they're like, well, like, how'd you get it on? He's like, oh, well, I drug it on with the truck. I just yanked that thing up onto the trailer. And he's like, oh, and by the way, the caliper seized. And like that car is so aired out that it's just sitting on the frame on the trailer. Like the car will not budge. A couple of us tried pushing, car's not going anywhere. And he kind of just looked at me like, okay, so like take it off. And I'm like, the fuck, do I just have like a crane? I'm supposed to pull a crane out of my ass and just like take this car off? And they're like looking around my house like, you know, maybe I can use this, maybe I can use that. And I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? So I'm like, all right, maybe like the car's battery's dead from my understanding. So I was like, I'll put a battery in it and we'll air it up and go on. I put my batteries on that I know is good. I moved a car with it yesterday. Still starts cranking. Nothing. I'm looking at the engine. All of a sudden, the intake runners, there's 6 intake runners. 3 of them are not bolted on. They're just sitting there. They're on the studs, but there's no nuts holding it on. I walk over and I yank it off. I'm like, this is not right. There's going to be no vacuum. It's going to have a massive misfire. Like, this car can't run in the condition it's in. And that's just the first thing I saw. I didn't go too deep. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, well, at least air it up now that there's a battery in it. Air does nothing. And so I'm like, all right, fuck it. Take this thing home. I don't want it. Like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? I can't even get it off a trailer. He's go, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, blah, 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 blah. Comes to find out, the car's been sitting for like 2 years, from my understanding. Over a year. I don't know how long, but definitely over a year. Car's been sitting. And he didn't know that the car was apart, but he was the one who took it apart. So that's, again, just sketchy. He claimed he didn't know the air suspension wasn't working. Oh, a whole sketchy ordeal. Like, so I said, take it home. And then he's like, well, what about, like, I'll give you cash to finish the 240. And I said, all right, like, let me see what it really needs, dive a little bit more into it, because I only had the time in between him dropping this 240 off and getting the E12. So I didn't really dive. I wanted to, like, make sure everything was good. And it's just not. Like, things were just done poorly. Like, things just are so sketchy. Like, the engine sitting without oil, like, I know it can be okay, but I don't trust it. I just don't trust it. Things like corrode. Like, we live in, I mean, the engine's exposed. There's no coolant hoses on it, so like moisture goes right into the engine potentially. Like, I don't know what crawled in there. Like, bugs could be in your coolant system. I don't know. This is like, this isn't worth it. I don't want you to start the car and have me do everything correctly, but you did something wrong on your end and have the car blow up and come back to me. So this is a video about how I didn't get an E12, and I'm super bummed. Gotta get this thing out of my garage. He's got to come pick it up because I said, I'm not doing it. I'm protecting myself in this situation. Cash is not the most important thing in the world. Like, I'm not going to charge you $5,000 to finish your car. Yeah, I know he's not going to pay me that. So here we are. Unfortunately, no E12, no cool videos. I got other parts that are stuck somewhere across the pond. I don't know where, somewhere in like Europe, that aren't shipping. The people are, dicking me around on that. So M3 was rushed, put back on together to get the 240 in the garage. Alignment is not proper, but I didn't even finish anything on the M3. I got new control arms, all this whole ordeal. I got this, which is pretty cool. Alex bought me some louvers for the M3. This thing's gonna be pretty sick on there. But for now, I'm gonna end this video. Unfortunately, it's just not what it's supposed to be. I don't even know what to do. I'm like so blown away. This BMW is cool. Yeah, air it out on the trailer. So fire, so good. Is what it is. Keep on moving. M3 content coming your way. Fuck it. M3 is all the way. That's all we need. We don't need any 240 shit like that in here. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Maybe I'll have an E12 one day. It kind of like set off this new kink I didn't know I had. These things are so good. The E12s, the whole 5 Series are so good. So I don't know if you want a convertible with S50, B32, full like Euro conversion, hit me up. I got you. I'll trade you for an E12, maybe, if yours is cool. So again, thank you for watching, and until next time.
Man's not happy.